So, in case you are unaware, LiAngelo Ball brother, has a viral song out right now. Obviously, Lonzo and LaMelo had more professional basketball success than LiAngelo. Um, he had a cup of coffee, I believe, in the G League, but of the Ball brothers, was the least big a prospect in basketball terms. Nonetheless, it appears he may have a future as a recording artist because I don't know if this is technically his first song or not. Certainly the first one I've heard. It went viral and it is still going viral, and it is particularly being shared in the sports world, probably for support of one of their own, right? Somebody who, wow, this is cool. Look what he has gone and done. The song is a very early 2000s kind of hip hop song, like a blend of Soldier Boy and Nelly or something along those lines. And you probably, or you may have heard it or seen it referenced. In fact, the Detroit Lions referenced that in their post game the other day.
That's step one. We're on it bigger and better now. Proud of you guys. Love y'all. 1 on 3, 1 on 3. Win. Put that jello on.
Put that jello on. You can hear in the background, meaning they were going to play it after that speech and the rah-rah that was going on with the Lions. Jello in reference to LiAngelo Ball there. And Dawn Staley, head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, the latest to join in on the craze. She put this on her Instagram, and you could see having some fun with the tune, which has the, I might bend the corner, whoa, kind of the hook.
Ain't nobody on there yet. You gotta get in the camera. Whoa. You waiting? Hey. She experienced it. Oh, no, they go.
Coach looks like she's having some fun there. Team looks like it's having some fun. Probably better than being asked about Malaysia for Wiley again and her lack of playing time. the South Carolina did win the other day, and Wiley didn't play much in that game either. But the big story coming out of that game was the unfortunate injury to Ashlyn Watkins. There's still no update on that. I'm sure we'll get it from her soon, Coach Staley soon. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked on the floor. I've heard rumblings that it is not as bad as it looked on the floor, but this was the play in the midst of the game. And you could see on the baseline here, looked like almost a non-contact thing with Watkins going up. Her knee buckles a little bit and she went down. She eventually had to be helped, assisted to the locker room. So a bit of a concerning, I think is the fair word, injury. I saw speculation from South Carolina media that maybe some people close to her had said it was more of a tweak than anything, but I do not have that on the record. I have not heard, obviously, from South Carolina on the record on that. Hopefully that is indeed the case, because as you can see here, it wasn't a great scene in the midst of the game. Sorry for the quick pivot there, but I figured I'd provide a little bit of an update on that because that was the biggest news to come out of South Carolina this past weekend and their game. And in the post-game press conference, Staley was asked if she had an update and said no, she did not have an update, but that Watkins didn't have to be treated at like a hospital or anything and got treatment within the South Carolina locker room. So hopefully a sprain or a hyperextension or something to that effect. By the way, Gino Auriemma just updated Paige Becker's status and said it was the same thing. AZ Fudd basically had a mild knee sprain, that she will be out about a week. But Staley talked about her team rallying around that moment in her post game after the Mississippi State game. And here's what she said.
You guys went on the big run pretty shortly after Ash went down. What was kind of said in the huddle? What was going on the bench after you see a teammate go down like that?
I think psychologically for our players, they took it to another level. I mean, we didn't say anything, and we try not to. Like we try to just keep things moving. Obviously, we feel for Ashlyn and her injury and her not being able to finish the game. But her teammates have her back, and they did take it to another level and on both ends of the floor.
So, talking about rallying around and the kind of things teams do. And another thing teams do is bond on the floor and with dance crazes, including LiAngelo Balls. So I think that was a sight that a lot of, I suppose, South Carolina fans, Gamecock fans, probably really like to see. Obviously, not what happened with Ashlyn Watkins, but what we just saw from Dawn Staley and company. So one more time for good measure, this is what we had.
Ain't nobody on there yet. Gotta get the camera.
Whoa.
You waited.
Hey, 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 hey.
Dance, Marion, dance. Oh, no, they go. Go, 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 go.
You know, one thing that's interesting with Coach Staley right now, relative to the other coaches in women's college basketball, even the big name coaches, you know, she's the star there. They don't have a star. For Wiley is the most captivating player. That's probably why she gets talked about the most, why her role is questioned the most. But if you look at UConn, yeah, Gino Auriemma is bigger than any, player given the course of his career there. But Paige Beckers is a star there. AZ Fudd is a well-known player there. Sarah Strong is an up-and-coming player there. With all the other big-name players, like Juju Watkins is bigger than her coach Gottlieb. And Hidalgo and Miles are bigger than their coach Ivy at Notre Dame. And Kim Mulkey's a big name at LSU, no question. But Flau'jae is a pretty big star at LSU. And so on and so forth. With Asia and Boston and Cardoso onto the WNBA, and no one emerging as that central force for South Carolina. South Carolina is still this huge team in women's college basketball, arguably still the best team in women's college basketball, but certainly one of the most high profile, definitely in the top, I would say 2, along with UConn, but certainly in the top 3 or 4. And she's the star there right now. And I'm not saying that with any motive or angle. It's just literally something that came to my head while I'm watching that video, because I'm seeing the other players in the video. And of course I recognize some of them, but it's not like, oh, it's it's her. Or here's the star player. That it's the South Carolina Gamecocks. And maybe that's good for them, because Staley has emphasized how deep they are, but how they don't have a star player and they don't have a WNBA starter right now. But at the same time, she's probably gotten criticized more than she ever has before, because some of the players, or the player that people think have potential, hasn't gotten the look. Nonetheless, for the time being, we can put a pause on that with a whoa.